What the ideal human society looks like is a question that has been pondered thoroughly and from many different angles. An answer to such a question, one might argue, is always dependent first and foremost on the actual goal, the core values that form the foundation of this ideal society. Assuming, however, that our goal is beauty, greatness, excellence, that the ideal social structure is the perfect framework for man to thrive, to achieve his greatest radiance, the fullest expression of his potential, true sublimity as a life form. Assuming this is our intent, I would say the ideal society is a delicate balance, the Aristotelian golden mean, if you will. Relatively archaic, but with some rudimentary aspects of civilization. In short, that which you will find in the tales of many a culture's heroic age. A society that's not too simple, where fighting for survival is the only activity available, resulting in a lack of opportunity for its members to develop into great men. But not too advanced either, where high levels of comfort create complacency, degeneracy, neuroticism, the mind drifting into meaningless abstractions while the body decays. The extremely simple material conditions of a savage people, basically no tools, rudimentary clothing at best, etc., also provide little cultural depth, few things to attach higher meaning to. No great hero's sword, no memento passed down through family generations, etc. Deeds have little meaning and win no glory, as there is no greater culture, no society beyond the close family, perhaps the small tribe it is part of. Essentially, there is little opportunity to write a great tale with one's life. In contrast, highly civilized conditions provide too much breadth, where nothing is truly meaningful as it exists within a sea of other things. Any item with meaning attached to it appears shallow or insignificant, can easily be replaced, and society is so stratified that it is exceedingly hard or virtually impossible to perform meaningful deeds that win any glory. In many ways, this notion of society is comparable to art. A work that lacks any deeper meaning, has not been imbued with any profundity, may be pretty, but will never be truly beautiful, graceful, dignified, sublime. A work that attempts to be greatly profound, on the other hand, too much so for its own good, will tend to become overly abstract and convoluted, hyperlogical at the cost of intuitive aesthetic appeal, thus managing at best to be clever, puzzling, or highly intellectual, but also never achieving true beauty, grace, dignity, sublimity. The perfect work of art combines outer beauty with inner wisdom. It is greatly appealing at a surface level to the most intuitive, non-logical nature of man, but does provide food for his intellectual side if he chooses to dive into its depths, even if it does so unintentionally. Another great analogy is the typical human life. While a child has an excess of vigor and the will to live and grow, and is largely unfettered by man-made ideas, it lacks the knowledge, experience, and physical power to go on great adventures and achieve any actual excellence in the grand scheme of things. An older man, on the other hand, often gets bogged down by excessive knowledge and experience, as well as external attachments and responsibilities taken on over the course of his life, letting them drag him into a living slumber of semi-coherent, largely automated tasks and duties that may well drain from him what little life force he has left. Undoubtedly, the most heroic man is usually the one who has shed the delusions and weakness of childhood, beginning to see the world for what it is, and wielding the strength to challenge its forces, yet has not surrendered his will and vitality to time. In many ways, this concept perfectly aligns with the idea of barbarians, when applied to both individuals and peoples alike. Barbarians were those living at the edges of great civilizations, considered unsophisticated, uncultured brutes. And yet, it was ever barbarians and their barbarous acts that actually forged such civilized societies in the first place. Modern Western society was created primarily by the Germanic peoples with Celtic and Slavic influences, all of them considered barbarians by the prior high culture of Europe, the Romans. The Romans, in turn, were considered barbarians by the Hellenic world when they started taking over the Mediterranean. And that same extensive Hellenic world had in large part been forged by Alexander the Great, king of the Macedonians, who were long seen as northern barbarians by the Greeks, until they started dominating Greece under Alexander's father Philip. Even Greek culture traces much of its heritage back to the heroic writings of Homer, whose characters appear suspiciously barbarian. And are not all these peoples the descendants of the Indo-Europeans, the great breakers of horses who came from the steppes to conquer the early European civilizations of Neolithic farmers? Barbarians are that balance, that golden mean mentioned earlier, in possession of simple culture that differentiates them from complete savages, animals even, yet still keeps them in touch with nature and their instincts, with their will to life, their will to conquer, consume, grow. This is the conception of barbarism from which Robert E. Howard's Conan was born, perhaps the most famous figure and set of stories modern Westerners associate with the term barbarian. Conan bridges the gap between savagery and civilization, capable of using reason but in full possession of his natural vigor and instincts. To Howard, barbarians represented the truest state of human existence. If we look back at the human life example given earlier, barbaric peoples are the civilizational equivalent of the young man. Aware enough of the greater world to strive for excellence and glory, yet not weakened by the comforts and pretentious abstractions of advanced society, which would prevent their success, smother their dreams. They can envision the heights and have the strength to reach them. Nietzsche spoke of the barbarian as a bringer of light, of life, referring to Prometheus as a barbarian from the heights. Prometheus, of course, stole fire from the gods in a daring act of defiance to raise up humans from the state of mindless animals. Nietzsche then recognized the neurotic, abstract state of Western culture, the darkness and eventual destruction it was headed towards due to its overly civilized nature. In his mind, only new barbarians could reignite the flame of life, the will to power within the modern man of the West. And it is in this sense that I have named myself a barbarian. I reject the comforts of modernity, its processed foods and abstract morality, the allure of a weak life as part of the collective, the herd, the life-draining existence of an equal man who has given up his grandest dreams and now strives to kill them in others, that they might stoop to his level and deny that innermost desire, seeking ever to drive them toward excellence. I want strength, speed, agility. I strive for greatness, for excellence, to create, to make my mark, enact my will upon the world, to brave tough challenges and harsh conditions. I welcome hardship, which would have me die a glorious death, or forge me into a man of greater power. And I would have you join me on this new path, that we may witness each other's courage and tell of our brothers' heroic deeds when they are gone. that's going to be it for today. I've been sitting on the script for this essay for quite some time now, so it was high time I recorded it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, maybe learned something, felt inspired. If you did, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, or you just want to push the algorithm a little bit, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and subscribe if you want to see more videos of mine. I make content on fitness, general health, and different aspects of philosophy. And then every now and then I'll drop an essay like this one. So if this is something you enjoy, go ahead and subscribe and activate the notification bell if you want notifications. Go ahead and check out the Primal Physique course down below if you want to forge the kind of powerful, capable body that will allow you to go on grand adventures and seek greatness, strive for excellence. You can go ahead and check out the course. It's down below in the description, and it'll take you through the whole process of building such a body step by step. You can also hit me up either on Coffee, which again is down below, or on Instagram if you're interested in personal coaching or me creating a personalized training regime for you. If that's something you want, go ahead and hit me up so we can get you started on your journey towards building the body of a heroic barbarian. That's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, have a good one.